in today's video, I'm going to be doing a crochet and crocheter gift guide. So instead of making two videos, I'm gonna be making one video about gifts that crocheters can give people, but also gifts that people can give crocheters for the holidays. This is also a really good gift guide for people who forgot to do gifts for this year, because I always leave it to the last minute and I don't know why. I'm just like, oh, I'll do it in December, and then it's halfway through December. I'm like, right, I gotta give people Christmas gifts. That's a thing. I always give good gifts, but I always forget to get them until like the last minute. If you're looking for a place for great crochet ideas for gifts, why not check out this video sponsor, Creative Crochet Corner. Creative Crochet Corner is your online resource for all things crochet, where you can learn basic stitches, garments, amigurumi toys, home decor, and so much more. Creative Crochet Corner is always creating new lessons to keep you coming back for more and help you stay inspired. Their instructional videos are taught by talented and friendly crochet experts. The instructors walk you through each technique with step-by-step demonstrations, providing expert tips and tricks. You can even connect with fellow crocheters to ask questions and share ideas. So let's check out Creative Crochet Corner and see some gift inspiration. They have 3 categories: amigurumi and toys, home items and decor, and wearables. Just looking at this page, I can already see so many good inspiration ideas, like this retro cassette tape bag tapestry project. I think this is a really cool idea. There's just a lot of good ideas on this page. Tapestry projects, shawls, scarves, patterns for mittens and blankets. They also have a great section of videos to help you out with any new skills that you want to learn for crocheting. If there's a gift that you want to make but you're not too sure how to make it, right here's the place to learn that skill. And they even have a bunch of free patterns. Just looking at these are giving me inspiration for gifts. You got hats, bandanas, cup cozies, little dolls, pillows, makeup bags, like the list goes on. I think all these would make great crochet gifts. The first 1,000 people watching this video to use the link in my description will get a full year of premium membership to Creative Crochet Corner for only $1.49. Valid for new members only. Once again, I have my handy dandy iPad where I wrote down all of the things that I need to remember to say. The first part of this video is crochet gifts, and then the second part of the video will be gifts for crocheters. These gifts are going to be more generic, more simple, okay? If you are running out of time, I'm not putting a sweater on this list, okay? Unless it's somebody that you truly care about, like you make that sweater for them. But this is gifts for people who are like, well, I want to crochet something for someone, but I really just don't have the time, because literally Christmas is in 2 weeks by the time this video comes out. We're running out of time, crocheters, to make things for people. First off, hats. Okay, you cannot go wrong with a hat. And there's so many different fibers that you can use for hats. It doesn't always have to be acrylic. I would suggest not using 100% wool, only because I made myself a hat with 100% wool, and like right here gets super itchy and I never wear it. Make sure you're using the right fiber for the right project. And then of course, going with hats, you can always make them a scarf, okay? These 2 items were like my go-to items back when I was doing, you know, like yarn looms, the ones that you would get at Michael's. They could be a circle for hats, or they could be like the long rectangle ones. Oh my goodness, the amount of scarves I made and hats was a lot. They're actually really easy to use, those hat looms. Maybe I should do a video about that one day. It's been years since I've used them, because once I started getting really back into crocheting, I kind of stopped with my hat looms, and then also the hat looms that I bought, the pegs kind of would always come out, and then I would lose the pegs, so. But scarves are really nice too, because if you want to make someone like a matching scarf and a hat, you can always make them in different patterns. You can use different stitches, and that's why I love crocheting, is because yes, like you could make someone the most simplest things, like a hat and scarf, but if you use like a cool stitch, it will look a little bit more fancier. And if you're making that person a hat and a scarf, why not a pair of mittens? Mittens aren't that bad to do. I did make a pair for my dad last year and they turned out pretty good. My first prototype looked like a gosh darn oven mitt and I had to redo it because I was using chunky yarn. It did not take me any time to redo those mittens. Mittens are pretty simple if you get the right pattern. I can't remember what pattern I used. Another one is a tote bag. I love a good tote bag. On my Patreon, I have a bunch of tote bag patterns there. You can also just make a simple granny square tote bag. Granny squares are like really in. I feel like they've been in for like the last few years. I love a good granny square, even when they go out of style, if they ever do. I'm still gonna love them. I mean, like, clearly I don't really do anything that's super trendy, if you can kind of see. But I love a good granny square, especially if you make them like a cute tote bag, and you can always use that red heart all-in-one granny square yarn. I did see a new one, like a new colorway at Michael's the other day, and I had to stop myself from buying it because I'm like, I don't need it. I keep buying them and I have nowhere to use them. So maybe making people projects with all that yarn is probably a good idea. Another one is a cup coaster and a cup cozy. Would it be one of these videos if I didn't mention a cup cozy or a cup coaster? And what's great about the holiday season is you can always like make them like a little gift set. You know, you could probably make like 2 little cup cozies and then like 4 coasters. You could make them with the same yarn. I would definitely suggest using cotton yarn because cotton is good with heat. Safer than sorry, okay? Like maybe you know what you're doing, but maybe other people don't. Cotton yarn, it comes in so many great colors, and there's variegated cotton yarns, and I did a whole cotton yarn review back in the summertime, which I will link here if anyone is interested in watching it, where I went over the different types of cotton yarns and what's good and what's not good and what is good for something and maybe not good for other things, etc. So if you're looking for a good cotton yarn review, I got one for you. If this person really loves Christmas and you know what their Christmas decor is, because I feel like everybody these days has their own personal style for Christmas. Personally, I like the vintagey Christmas, where it's just a bunch of random stuff on a tree, but you can make someone a really cute tree ornament. I've made these a few years ago. I think you can get them at Michael's, but you can get those like plastic clear balls. A lot of times people will put paint and glitter in them, but you could literally crochet. I don't remember how I did it, but I did it somehow. I think I just crocheted two circles and then I sewed them together and then I put the ball inside. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. But you can make someone cute little ornaments for their tree. You could also make like garland. Again, the garland, I thought I wasn't going to put it in this video because I'm always talking about garland, but garland for the tree, that is a good idea. For somebody who is always wearing makeup or wants to wash their face nicely, I don't know, I use soap and water. You can make reusable cotton pads for like makeup removal, which I think is a pretty good idea. I never even thought about that before. Wiping your makeup away, you're always throwing things out, and I really try to reuse things. I'm very big into recycling, okay? If I can donate something or reuse it, I'll do that before I throw anything away. You could even stretch that, you know, if maybe not for makeup, you could make bigger cotton pads for washing dishes. And it all depends on who you're making these for. If you know somebody who loves cooking and baking and stuff like that, maybe make them some cleaning stuff for their sink and their dishes and stuff like that, because obviously if they're gonna bake, they're gonna have to wash their dishes at some point. But you can make them cute and you can make them with fun yarns and you can make them more their personality. So that way it's less of let's just throw this in the cupboard, whereas, oh, this is cute, maybe I'll put it on display. You know what I mean? I don't really have any rhyme or reason of these categories. Next up, for someone who you know is a big reader, you can always make them some really cute bookmarks. There's a lot of ideas for bookmarks. You can make them just plain. I've seen people make them look like little plants. You could also make little sleeves that they can put their books in, and if maybe they're like a Kindle reader or they read like on an electronic like tablet or something like that, you can always make a sleeve for that. You can make a laptop sleeve. You are comfortable with tapestry crocheting. If you know this person, then you can maybe figure out what their favorite TV show is, maybe their favorite flower, their favorite food, something about them, and you could make like a little tapestry side and then maybe make the back plain and then just sew it up. That way it's a little bit more meaningful to the person that you're giving it to, because again, it's Christmas and if you're giving a gift, you know, you kind of want to like give something to someone that you know that they're gonna like. And like right on that whole thing of making like a little book sleeve, you also could make little pouches. I've seen people do like little zipper pouches. It'd be like a little makeup bag. It could be a pencil case. It could be something that someone stores stuff in. Personally, I love little pouches just to organize stuff in, you know, especially like all my crocheting things. It's always a good idea to have like something with a little zipper. You know, things are gonna fall out of it. Of course, you'll probably have to put a lining in depending on how you do your stitches, you know. Like a granny stitch, probably put a lining in, but if you're doing like a single crochet, you're probably good. Just like a simple little pouch, you know, and then you can also throw stuff in there. Like maybe you make them a pouch and you know, I know I keep saying makeup, but it's the only thing that's really coming to my mind right now. And then maybe you buy them like some lip gloss and like whatever other things that they like, or maybe they like some like jewelry or something like that. And you could put it inside the pouch as the gift, right? Something very popular right now is slippers, especially felted slippers. I'm actually working on a project right now that has to do with felting slippers, and let me tell you, it is easier than you think. You know, it's just, you got to figure out the size. I'm actually making two versions. One version I did without a pattern and they were huge and I had to wash them a few times, but eventually they did get to the size they needed. The second one, which I'm currently working on now, I'm actually using a pattern for it, and I'm almost done a slipper, and it took me like 2 hours just to do one slipper. They're very popular right now, and I feel like a lot of people are going to want these felted slippers for Christmas. Another thing that you can make for someone is an amigurumi doll, especially if they love a certain character. For TV shows, cartoon shows, or maybe they just love a certain animal like a bunny or a bear or something like that. You can always crochet them something that they like, and then maybe you can also make them like little accessories. Like maybe you can make like a little bear, you can make them a little sweater, maybe a little hat. You could also maybe make them a version of themselves. Like again, maybe they love cats, me, and then they just make a cat version of them with like colors they like, maybe a favorite shirt that they always wear. That's always cute. I know my sister always makes them for her friends and they always love them. Another one is just maybe a small crochet basket, something that they could always just put their keys in when they come into the house. Maybe they want to put their earrings or jewelry in. I'm just kind of talking from experience because that's what I do. Well, except for my keys, I always throw them in my purse, and then when I don't throw them in my purse, I'm like, where did they go? So maybe I should probably make one for myself. Always a nice little trinket dish, and you can also felt this. So if you make it out of wool, and I do have a video that I did this in, and you just make it a little bit bigger, and then you just throw it in the washing machine. Maybe you do it the same time as the slippers, and you felt everything together, and then it becomes this like nice dense bowl. I really like mine. I just don't know where I put it. I put it somewhere and then I lost it. I'm really bad at doing that. Or sometimes people make them into like a little square dish just to like put things in. You could also maybe make it for like a cute little napkin holder on a nice plate setting, like a dining table or something like that. Another one is keychains, okay? Amigurumi, you can make little tiny mini ones. Maybe they love chickens. Make them a little tiny mini chicken keychain. One of my followers did send me a little chicken keychain, and it is like so adorable, and they also made me matching chicken earrings. So, you know, you can also crochet jewelry for people. Lanyards, or you could do like maybe just a little tassel thing. I think a lot of the stuff, why I'm saying this on this list, is because this would be something that I would want if somebody were to crochet it for me, but as a crocheter, I would just crochet it for myself, right? Another one is like a plant holder. If somebody loves plants, you could definitely crochet or macrame, and I've done macrame like once or twice before. I mean, you could crochet like little plant hangers, but if they want their plant like on a table or something like that, you could just like crochet like a little plant holder like for the pot, and they could just put it inside the pot, and then it like can look cool. You could put different designs like mosaic crocheting, which I would like to try next year. That's something that I really want to do. You could mosaic crochet a little pot holder, or it doesn't even have to be for plants. You can also make like maybe a soup bowl holder, because a lot of times if I make soup and I put it in the microwave and I take that bowl out and it is hot and I gotta carry it somewhere, having a little bowl, again made out of cotton yarn because it's hot, to like put it in would be also like pretty cool. So like any type of like container that someone could put something in. Another one which I don't really see a lot is fridge magnets. Okay, if I had my own, I do have my own fridge. Why am I not putting stuff on my own fridge? It's in the camper. I just don't really use it because I unplugged the camper. It doesn't make any sense for me to use it, but I do have a fridge, and I probably could put magnets on it. But why not make cute little fridge magnets? Again, amigurumi, you could do that. You can make like a little tapestry project, like maybe this big. I've used like fingering weight yarn and made a little tapestry project of like a painting or something, and then put like a little wooden frame. I think they sell like little frames at Michael's, and you probably can get them on Etsy and stuff like that, and then put a magnet behind it, and then it could be like a fridge magnet. I think that'd be so cool, just like a little tapestry magnet. Also, it'd be kind of neat if you made like a bunch of letters and then people can spell things out. And the last thing that I have for crochet projects, and it pretty much encompasses a whole category, and that is car accessories. And you know how much I love crochet car accessories. You can make headrests, you can make little dangly things from the mirror, you can make cup coasters, you can make cup cozies for people in the car. Things that I wouldn't necessarily do is steering wheel covers. I don't trust them. I don't know, I just don't really feel safe with like a steering wheel cover. Although they look cute and I would love to have one, I just don't know how safe they are, right? Because you're steering the car, and if you lose grip, of it. That's probably not the best thing to happen while you're driving a car. Also, you could crochet, if you really wanted to, you could crochet like a car blanket. I actually found a knitted blanket a few years ago, and I put it in the back of my car because, again, I'm trying to make my car look as vintagey as possible. You could also do one of those things that go over the seatbelt cover, like something cool crochet, which you could probably put like snaps, like Velcro or something like that, you know, just like to spruce up your car. I just love good car accessories. The last one I did was my over-the-garden wall car accessories, and I'm still using all of them. All right, so that is it for the gifts that you can crochet for others. And now we're going to do a gift guide for that crocheter in your life. Gifts that you can give a crocheter that they will love and appreciate. A lot of this stuff too can also be for the knitting community. I just didn't do a lot of knitting gifts. I mean, like the gifts that in the crochet part also could be knit, you know what I mean? It's like interchangeable. You can knit a hat, you can crochet a hat. You can knit a scarf, you can crochet a scarf. That's what I mean, like interchangeable. I know knitting and crocheting are two different things, and I really want to start knitting. I have the needles, I have projects, I have yarn. I want to start knitting in the new year, okay? Just got to get this year over with. The gift guide for crocheters are things that personally me, I always need, I always run out of, and I'm always losing because they're little. And I put them down for 2 seconds and I turn around and they're gone. Especially when I'm in the camper, I'll bring the stuff in the camper and then I'll forget to bring it in there, and then I won't have it, and then I don't know where it is, and then when I come in the camper to find it, it's completely gone. So this is a really good gift guide for anybody who doesn't know what to buy, the crocheter or knitter in their lives. First up is a yarn spinner. I have two. I love them so much. They are so handy, especially if you have someone who has a yarn winder and a yarn swift, because when you wind the yarn from like the, what are they, Hanks? Yes, Hank into the yarn swift, there's so many names, then they come out to being like these cakes, and the cakes fit perfectly on top of these yarn spinners. I do have to say, after using yarn spinners for a few months, it's always good to have them level with your project. Sometimes when they're like lower, they kind of get caught, or they don't like pull as nicely, but I've been noticing lately if I have them on a table that's like kind of like parallel with my like crocheting, they work perfectly and I have no problems with them. Next, hooks. Now, don't just get a crochet or any crochet hook. Don't be like, hell yeah, that's a crochet hook. They crochet, let me get them this hook. No. If they are a newer crocheter and they're like, hey, can I get a crochet hook kit for Christmas? Absolutely, okay, you go get that for them. But if they're like me and they have a special hook or a certain brand of hook that it's the only hook that they're going to use, don't get them hooks. Unless they're like, hey, I really like this hook from this brand, I don't have it in this size, this would be a good Christmas gift. That is fine, but just don't get people random crochet hooks. My favorite hooks are from BWA. I absolutely love them. They're a little bit heavier than a regular hook. I think they're lighter than a Purl's metal hook, but they're just slightly heavier than a Purl's resin hook, and I do have a whole review video of these BWA hooks. I absolutely love them. Love them because they're interchangeable hooks. They're amazing. I absolutely love this company. I have been using their hooks since I believe 2024, almost 2 years, and I have not gone back to any other hook. Now there is another hook that, yes, I technically use, but I only use it like once every few weeks, and that is for this. This is the temperature scarf, and if you've been following me on my Patreon, I do an update every month. But there is a hook that I use for here because I bought it at my favorite yarn store, Central Purl. It is Knit Pro, very much like the BWA hook. You can interchange the hook sizes. They are inline though. So that's the only issue with these ones, is because they're inline, and you know I like a good tapered hook. My BWA is a tapered hook, hence why I use that one a lot. But I like this one because it can be in my project bag with my project, and then that way when I know I want to work on this, if I'm in a car or something like that, or you know, it's just a random day, I'm like, I need to get this done, I don't have to be looking around for my regular crochet hook. I can just have it all together. And the Knit Pro actually does have a set too, so you can buy a cute little set with all these different interchangeable hooks. So it just all depends on this person in your life wants hook wise, okay? If they ask you for these hooks, definitely get them, but if not, you gotta ask what type of hooks that they like before you buy a hook for them. I know I went on a little bit of a hook rant right there, had to be said. Another great gift is a really nice yarn bowl. There are so many type of yarn bowls out there. You can get wooden, you can get ceramic. I personally like a good wooden yarn bowl, and there's so many different sizes. I prefer like a medium size bowl because you never know what size of yarn you're gonna put in there, whereas if you get a smaller bowl, then you kind of have to use smaller yarns. Another great thing is a neck lamp, especially for somebody who likes to crochet when they watch TV and they watch movies. I need to use my neck lamp every time I crochet with a darker color. Even if all my lights are on, sometimes I just can't see the stitches. But honestly, I wish I would have bought mine sooner because they are so handy. Another great gift is a Crochet Hook case. I have a pencil case. I love my pencil case that I can put all my crochet stuff in, especially ones with different zippers and different little pockets, because you can put like your scissors, your needles, your hooks, your tape measurers, any of your little notions in there. And I know they sell cases that are specifically made for crochet hooks. Sometimes they can be a little bit more pricier, and maybe you don't know the level of crocheting this person is. Maybe they're a beginner and they only have a few things. They also could be an expert and have 1,000 things, right? Like me. I'm not really an expert, but I have a lot of things. Having like a cute little bag is perfect just to put even some notions in. Like say they go to a crochet club, they could just throw a bunch of stuff in there and be on their way. And you don't have to get them a legit crochet one. For instance, again, this one, I think this was Bath and Body Works from like 2016, 2017. And I think it came with like 3 hand creams in it, and the hand cream scents I didn't really care for, but I love this bag, okay? Like I am obsessed with this ever since I was a child. Like this type of shimmery sparkly. Now it's a crochet bag. So it doesn't have to be a crochet bag. It can be really anything as long as it's long enough to hold one crochet hook in, right? Another one is a crochet hook holder. They do sell these at Michael's, and the one at Michael's has different slots for the different sizes, but I think they're made specifically for the Michael's loops and threads hooks because, you know, the handles are smaller. I love having a hook holder. I do have one in my room. I'll show you here. I put all my furls in it because before I got into my BWA, I really liked furls hooks and they fit perfectly in here. And you want to know what that is? You know what? I actually have another one. Let me go grab it. This, I'm pretty sure, is for crafting scissors. You know, ones with zigzags, ones with a little scallop. It was $5. I got it at Value Village and it spins. I actually made one for my sister. I painted hers like this purpley kind of color, and then I actually put felt. It was very difficult. Well, it wasn't difficult, but it was annoying. And I put felt around each hole and I glued them in with like a glue gun. Probably easier way to do it. And then you could put all your hooks in here. So I have this one too. I saw it, I'm like, might as well buy another one. And then one time at an estate sale, I found a toothbrush holder, which also fits crochet hooks. Now it all depends on what size their crochet hooks are. Like if you have someone who loves furls hooks and like the resin thicker hooks or like the wooden thicker hooks, this is perfect for them. But if you have someone who likes the thinner hooks, then I think the one they have at Michael's with the littler holes, perfect. Another good gift for a crocheter is maybe either a crochet book or fun little crochet cards. Now I have 3 of them. They are the granny square cards. I also think I have one that is just like the newest one they have is just like crochet stitches, but it's like a little card deck and it has like all these different types of crochet patterns that you can do. The first one is like just traditional granny square. I have one that is just flower granny squares, and the last one I got is like fun crochet stitches, and so it shows you what it looks like on one side, and on the other side it has a little pattern. Like again, you kind of have to know what they like and what they don't like, because some people just don't like granny squares, and that is perfectly fine. I love granny squares. If you know that they like granny squares, these little boxes are perfect for them. They sell them at Central Purl, and I think they're like $20-something, which I think is such a good price for these types of cards. They're nice cards. They're not flimsy. But if you know someone who loves granny squares, these card decks are perfect for them. For somebody who is a crocheter and maybe has to block their items, is a good steamer. Okay, I have a steamer. I'd like to get a new one because it's a little top heavy, but having a steamer to steam your crochet garments is so great, especially for somebody who works a lot in acrylic yarns. I use a lot of acrylic yarns, and you can't really wet block acrylic, but you can steam acrylic, okay? And certain acrylics, if you steam them a little bit too much, they will melt, because again, acrylic and heat don't go well together. It is a very handy tool for crocheters. Another one would be just like a fun tote bag. I love a fun tote bag. I've got this one. Okay, first off, I got this one like years ago, like 2019. I got this and it says all my plants are dead, and it just has a bunch of dead plants. And I got this one at Stay Home Club. They are a Canadian company and they have like the cutest patches and clothes and buttons and pins and like tote bags. But this tote bag here is where I keep my temperature scarf That's all you're gonna see until the video's out, unless you follow me on Patreon. Like a good tote bag for somebody who has 1,000 projects going on. And then like going off tote, you can also maybe buy them some pins or some patches that have to do with crocheting or yarn or hooks or knitting if they're a knitter as well. And then you could also like give them the bag and maybe put the pins on it, or give them the bag and have the pins like in the bag for them to put on the bag. Now I wouldn't suggest going out and buying yarn unless they give you specifically buy me this yarn. Probably don't buy them yarn. If you want to buy them yarn, why not get them a gift card to their favorite yarn shop? This could be to Michael's, this could be to Etsy. I think you can get like Etsy gift cards, and maybe they could buy some patterns that they've always wanted to buy. For me, Central Purl, that is my favorite yarn store. She has gift cards, and then that way you can give someone a gift card and then they can buy things for a project. Maybe you give them like a $30 gift card and the amount of yarn that they need is like $60 worth of yarn. Well, now they only got to pay $30 for that yarn. You know what I mean? Gift cards are always great to yarn stores. Another good gift, these things. They are clips. I got them on Amazon, and can you see how they're half full? This is my second one that I bought of this. I don't know what happens to them. A lot of times they fall on the floor and then I step on them and they break. So if you know somebody who has to do a lot of attaching of projects and sewing together, these clips are very handy. The last thing I'm going to talk about is a bunch of little tiny things that you could put in a little pouch. What I think is a good idea is if you get a little accessory bag, very much like this, and then you could put a bunch of things in here. So things that I would like if someone were to give me this gift would be stitch markers. Love stitch markers, okay? They can be the very basic stitch markers. You could make them stitch markers. I actually make my own stitch markers. I don't know if I have any that I can show you right now. Oh, it's on my project. You can make them stitch markers. So this is a little fish one, and this little gold thing, I don't know if you can see it, is actually an earring clasp. And I bought a bunch of them on Amazon. It was like a 2-pack, so you would get silver and you would get gold. And you're supposed to make earrings, but I make stitch markers and earrings. Technically I can wear this as an earring too. So you can make somebody a bunch of really cute stitch markers. If you go into Michael's and you go into their charm section, they have so many charms that would be perfect as stitch markers. Yarn scissors are always a good thing because the amount of times I lose my scissors when I do a project. I got this little thing here, like this is a little travel one. They're little paws, measuring tape. I just have it all in my bags right here. Little measuring tape like this. Very handy. Yarn needles. Do you know how many times I lose or break my yarn needles? So many times. There's these yarn needles that I absolutely love. I'll put a photo here, but because they're plastic, they're very easy to break if you're really like pulling on it. The big ones I haven't had any problems with, but the little ones seem to break a lot. So even just like throwing a pack of them in there for anybody who has to weave in their ends, very, very handy, okay? Also, a nice metal set is great too because they're not sharp like a knitting needle, although like if you sat on it or stepped on it, it will go through, it will pierce. I love metal needles for when I have to attach my projects together. So yarn needles are always something that I'm always losing and I'm always buying. So if you can buy someone some yarn needles, they're gonna appreciate it, trust me. I think that does it for the holiday gift list of crocheting projects for other people and for other people to give gifts for crocheters. In the comments below, if you are a crocheter, let me know what you would want for Christmas as a crocheter. Maybe you do want new needles, maybe it's a certain gadget you want, maybe it's a yarn winder, because maybe I left something out of my list. I think that does it for this video, so y'all have a good day now.